Hi guys, welcome back for another one. I am Mr. Free to Play. That is right, I'm a free to play player and I give free to play player advice, tips, tricks, and other things. Now normally hot takes are based on the dev blog, but I'm actually going to go after the strike time video in this one. And I know everyone, and I mean everyone, has already made videos as soon as this thing went live yesterday. But I decided that I just wanted to have my own little space. No one else is posting it this time. And yes, I'm recording this Saturday. You guys will probably see this Sunday because I am blitzing my...
Sorry, family channel.
So guys, if you're ready for my hot take from a free-to-play player, I need you to do one thing. Sit back, relax, and let's get into it. One thing I have to get into before getting into today's video is I have to give a shout out to the content creator that won the bold prediction viewer vote, and that is Milestone 365, who just posted a video recently that I will probably go check out once I'm done recording here and before I start editing these videos together. Now, I first stumbled upon Milestone 365 when he made this video right here, Lessons Learned, introduced a tool that I didn't even know existed before watching that video that I have used quite a few times since then when just planning out my next steps in Dark Dimension 3 and how I was going to get there most resource efficient wise. And because of this video, I actually have all 15 characters I need to complete Dark Dimension 3, and I did it without having to waste a ton of resources, and it's the main reason why I have over 100,000 in war credits right now, because I didn't have to waste it on gear that I'm not planning on using. As once I complete the Dark Dimension first run, I'm going to get a lot of that gear in surplus for Dark Dimension 4, and not only that, I have that war credit saved up, so if I need more when I go for Dark Dimension 4, it's there ready to go. And I have a lot of that to thank to that video right there by Milestone 365. So congrats on winning the bold prediction fan vote. And I see you're 42 subs away from 1,000. So guys, if you want to do him a huge favor and check out his channel, if you can subscribe, another 42, in case you guys don't know, at the 1,000 mark, someone has the ability to monetize their channel and start making money off YouTube. And I'm pretty sure you guys would do him a huge favor if you guys could make that happen for him. So with that said, let's get back into the hot take on strike time. Before I get started with my hot take, we gotta put on some tinfoil hats, guys. I'm not gonna put a tinfoil hat on, but you can, because the big question is the comic books in the background a huge teaser to what is coming in 2021 character-wise? Now, as I pointed out to my alliance and other people have pointed out on Reddit and other people's chats and stuff like that, there is a magazine back here in the background of Gwen Stacy, which is a rumored character that's been out for quite some time, and actually she's the favorite, if you want to call her Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen. She's the rumored favorite as the next legendary character and the 5th member of the Young Avengers. So is that a teaser for that, or is that to throw us off because they know the rumors that are circling around the community? Now, there are other magazines here that I find quite interesting. As are they a teaser, or are they just a circumstance of what he had around his office and put up? So the first thing I want to draw your guys' attention to is down here in the left-hand corner. You see the Marvel Zombie comic books. So one, is this just a theme because it's Halloween? Or is this actually a hint of something's coming, either skins or new characters around Marvel Zombies, possibly their own tag? The other thing that I see is the characters that are featured on the comic book itself. On this one over here, you guys can see Nightcrawler is on that cover. And on this one, you guys see Galactus in the back of Spider-Man. And why I think these are all hints at 2021 is the simple fact behind him, he has 2 Ant-Man comic books hinting at the new Pimtech team that was hinted at in the dev blog and in this video itself. Now, there is an X-Men magazine behind M.M. Frost. I'm not sure, I don't really recognize the character on the cover. There's another Magneto type magazine. I don't know if this is hinting at a Brotherhood rework or Magneto rework, or more coming in the Magneto faction of Brotherhood. Or like I said, it just could be a coincidence, it's just what he had laying around. There is one thing I'm really gonna get into, but there's one other thing I'd like to point out before I get into that one, and that's the fact that he has Jessica Jones comic book, a random one, in the background too. Does this mean a Defenders rework is coming, or a new Defender character, or something around Jessica Jones herself? I'm very, very curious on this one. And to end our tinfoil hat conspiracy theories is the fact that there is 3 comic books, and I mean 3 comic books, that are titled Empire in the background. Now, I googled the Empire Marvel comics to figure out what's going on here. So this is actually seems to be a fairly new comic series that's coming out, and a lot of times, you guys don't know why I'm picking this out, is that they usually will get the comics to study up on how the character art should look like, what they should be faction with, what their abilities are, and it's a way of them doing research. So if he has a comic book laying around, it means they probably have gotten these to do research on, which is another reason why I give all these some validity, that this could be just a big teaser at 2021 and not just the Gwen Stacy one, which is everyone's pointing out. So basically what this comic book series is about the Skrull and Kree invasion, which seems weird, but that's what they have written down here. So I don't know, I haven't read these comic books myself, and is led by Hawkling. So Hawkling is another character that I've heard name mentioned before. So I don't know, but there's a lot of characters here, like the Skrulls themselves, more Kree possibly. I see Wiccan's name pop up, which is another character that some people have been throwing out there as possible characters coming, and just some other things like that. So I'm really curious, is this a bigger hint of something that's coming? And now that I threw all that tinfoil hat theory out there, let's go over some of the points that are in this video. First thing, yes, Invisible Woman's legendary event is coming up. If you guys got 5 stars more of your Sinister Six team members, you guys are good to go. For me personally, she's maxed out, so it's, Next thing he mentioned that's also on the dev blog is that Nobu and Venom are the next 2 Blitzes coming up next week. Alright, so one of the first points they hit on here with game developer John Durr is about ISO 8. Now, I have to be honest with you guys, I felt pretty stupid not figuring this out sooner, that this T1 stands for tier 1, that there wasn't going to be more levels up. I don't know why, if I just assumed that was T1, and then when you had 2 dots it was T2, the T3, I don't know, it just didn't click for me. And when they said there was more tiers of this coming and more customization coming, I felt blindsided because I just didn't see this coming, and I'm someone who really sees a lot coming, and this one just kind of caught me off guard. I don't know if it was mentioned before elsewhere and I just overlooked it, but yeah, more tiers coming to ISO 8 in the spring of 2021. And in case you guys don't know, around March is when this game celebrates its anniversary, and it's usually when a new game mode comes out. I don't know if we're gonna get a new game mode. Now, there is something they do mention that could be that new game mode, but I don't know if they're also gonna hold off until March on that, or what they're thinking exactly. They kind of just throw a bunch of stuff out, but not a real, actually when they expect it to come. Now, another thing they mentioned, these little white traits here, is they mentioned that they're gonna add colors to them in the future to help determine which one's which. Now, just like the symbols themselves, you gotta kind of train your brain, just realize like, hey, that's blaster, that's brawler, this one here is controller. So even if they add colors to this, it's still something I'm gonna have to train my brain to realize that, oh, purple's blaster or orange is brawler. Like, it's gonna be training no matter what. So I don't know if colors are going to be easier for a newer player to pick up and get, or it's still the same kind of learning process to recognize the symbols. We'll have to wait to find out, but it is pretty cool that they're adding another way to help determine this, which is which. I just don't, like I said, you're still gonna have to train your brain to recognize a trait with a color. So the next thing they hit on was an auto blitz feature coming up. Now, we guys have been aware of this for quite some time. It's still unclear if it's going to work like how we saw it when the people had access to it for like 10 minutes, or it's going to behave differently when it's fully implemented. He mentioned that you would have to know the meta. So the question comes, when you have a mixed team, how does that work? For example, we're going to ignore the tiers here, but say this was an even matchup. So they're saying, if this was my Sinister Six and over here were the Defenders, well, obviously we know from the meta, Sinister Six beats Defenders. But, and once again, say this is an even matchup, how do they know this random team can beat this random team, or this random team beats them? That's the curious thing. Like, so when you talk about meta, like, team matchup against team matchup, it's pretty easy for them to figure out on an auto who should win that match. But when you start having mixed characters and you put it on auto, how do they know which meta trumps which meta? So I am optimistic that it will be the same thing we saw from several people that posted the videos on YouTube of the auto sim, but my feeling is that they changed it where it's going to recognize team matchups and it may not recognize individual characters that are just mismatched for these matches. So I really am curious to see how that works out. I have a feeling that once you start getting into even or overpowered matches, you're just going to lose, even if you could easily win that manually. But once again, we'll have to see once it's implemented. Now, the next thing they hit upon was PvP. They did mention that overall players enjoy playing other players, which I feel is true. I don't mind playing another player, but what they find is that most of the players have issue with the time sink it comes to doing a draft, which again is legit. I don't mind doing a draft against a friend or for content, there's some fun behind that. But when I'm forced to do that over and over again for a milestone, and I shouldn't say use the word forced, more enticed or encouraged or feel like I'm obligated to for rewards, it does become a bigger problem. Now for me, in a previous video, I did say one of the easiest fixes is just do the quick match, which I found a lot of people push back against, which I get. If you're one of those that are stuck in a Blackwater versus Blackwater matchup non-stop, I get it. I didn't see the Blackwater versus Blackwater matchup. I guess it's just because of my total collection power. I didn't see it that way. My matches were pretty much random most of the time. I think I got like 1 or 2 Blackwater matchups when the quick match was a feature. So I do understand where some of the players are coming from. So this leads us into where they mention the Battle Pass for the first time. Now, other content creators have been mentioning this Battle Pass for about a week now. Now, when they put it out there, they didn't say anything about it being monetized or having to pay for it or anything like that. It just sounded like its own objective thing, maybe a weekly, monthly, daily type objective system that goes along with PvP, and it's going to be more matched up to a quick draw than a draft system, which, hey, this is sounding okay so far. So is the Battle Pass going to be monetized? And a lot of content creators feel that it will be monetized. And I'll just tell you guys where I stand right now. I think there should be 3 different Battle Pass options. I think 1, there should be some for the free-to-play players that are willing to grind to complete all the Battle Pass objectives. If someone's willing to grind and play your game non-stop, they should be rewarded for that. Don't make it easy so everyone will want to do it free to play, but make it challenging, make it difficult, but make it ultimately doable if they're willing to grind. Second, a cheap Battle Pass option which reduces the overall grind, but you still have to play the thing, you still have to go through it, you just don't have to achieve as many as the players are doing for free to play. For example, free to play, win 10 matches with Sinister 6. Someone who pays, win 3 matches with Sinister 6. It extremely reduces the time they have to be in the game, but still makes it quite easily doable for them, and they're paying for it. And then the third tier, the little higher price point that just automatically unlocks all rewards without you have to do anything, should be the third option. If they present it that way, I am fully on board, fully behind it, fully support it. But they make the rewards so good and you basically have to spend for them, that's where I'm going to have an issue with it. And it's just not me as a free-to-play player. It's just for the player base in general. I'm looking for the entire player base. They can monetize this and make money with it, at the same time still making it available for those that don't have the luxury of spending money on a mobile game. All right, and the next thing that was on their agenda, it was Dark Dimension 4. And they kind of give us some insight to explain why Dark Dimension 3, especially in the beginning half, was so terribly grindy, not fun to play, or so on and so forth. And it was basically because when they designed it, they knew Phoenix was going to be an option. They knew she could nuke for 20% damage every time she got her special off. So they tailored the entire thing to basically make you grind through it even with Phoenix. So it pretty much put all the players in a corner where you absolutely have to have Phoenix to play it. So the good news is that they realized, they took that experience and realized that players didn't enjoy the first half, but did enjoy the Cosmic and City nodes of Dark Dimension 3. So with that in mind, they are designing Dark Dimension 4 to be a little bit more enjoyable by removing legendaries from some of the nodes, if not most of the nodes. It seems like people were interpreting this in different ways, and it's hard to know who has inside information and who doesn't have inside information. Some content creators seem to think that there'll still be global, cosmic, and city nodes, that some will be without legendaries and some of the nodes will be with legendaries. I interpreted watching it as there'll be just global nodes without legendaries, just city nodes without legendaries, just cosmic nodes without legendaries, and then nodes that are just legendaries. That's the way that I interpreted. But once again, once envoys start saying the same thing, I start to wonder if they are accessed to information that they're not supposed to talk about and mention something that actually wasn't said, because maybe they interpret that it was said because they have the inside information and they just connect the dots and don't even think about it. I'm not sure, because they never specifically said that there will be city nodes with and without legendaries. They just said there'll be city, cosmic, and global without legendaries, and then legendaries. Now, some of the player feedback was a little upset because they're telling you can't use your legendaries and some of the nodes which people have built for Dark Dimension 3, which I don't understand why people are upset about this. It's nothing outside the norm that what's happened over time. I mean, look at Dark Dimension 2. I mean, I leveled up Star-Lord and Rocket for Dark Dimension 2, and they weren't viable for Dark Dimension 3 at all. So I had to build up new characters in the Cosmic to go into Dark Dimension 3. So having to build up newer characters for Dark Dimension 4 makes sense, especially when you think about it. Dark Dimension 3 is a year old at this point. So some of your characters are going to transfer over and be good in Dark Dimension 4, just not all of them. Like take Colossus, for example. If he's not able to be paired with Phoenix, he loses his value for a Dark Dimension 4 character, which means if you leveled him up for Dark Dimension 3, yes, you probably are wasted those resources and that character's unusable. And that's just the belly of the beast. And as someone who did that, I can't fault them for changing it up. That's all part about the new game mode, is changing it up so it's not stale. I don't understand when we get mad at them for copy and paste, but then when they don't copy and paste, we get mad at them. It doesn't make any sense, guys. All right, and then the next thing they hit upon was the difficulty slider for the Greek raids. One of the biggest things they said they're going to introduce, they're going to take away our ability to heal our characters up in between nodes. So if a character goes down in a node, you can't revive and bring them back for the next one. And if they're low health, you can't revive them at full health for the next one. And this is mainly because they want us to use more of our roster, which there's not really a game mode that makes you use a ton of your roster, except for War. Let's War you can, and Blitz. Okay, so I have to take that one back a little bit. But anyways, I think you guys get what I'm trying to get at here, is they're trying to make you use more of your roster. And as someone who's come up as the free-to-play experience, and using a ton of your roster is not a good thing, but overall for the health of the game, especially people that are willing to spend, it does make sense. It's still playable as free to play, but it does favor those that are willing to spend money, and that's a good business decision. So I can't fault them at that and coming up with a creative solution, and it does make you use more. So I'm not down on that idea at all. What I'm more down on, what they need to fix, and Alpha Raid is fine as is. Beta's kind of fine as is. I just like to see these boss nodes get rid of the Sinister 6 tag. Like, just get rid of the Sinister 6 tag. That's outdated. They redid these last time when Sinister 6 came out, and that's quite some time ago, guys. Get rid of the Sinister 6 tag for the boss nodes. But as is, it does make you use more of your roster, and all your roster can be used. Where my issue is, and where they really need to fix, is the Gamma Raid. They need to update this where every single team tag in the game is represented on here. Now there are a few characters that will get left out because they don't have a team tag, but I think at a minimum every team tag needs to be on here. So this is what really needs to be reworked. Either get rid of some of the double ups, or add 3 to everyone, or 4 to everyone, or add 3 to everyone and the boss nodes have 4. Like, it just needs to be changed up and every team needs to be included. I think overall it's a good thing. It's more challenging, but you're also going to be able to get more rewards. You'll get more orbs to characters you already have maxed out if you're a late game player, like I'm starting to experience. But this typically does give you gold orbs, which everyone needs more gold. So hey, character orbs may suck, but the gold orbs are always good. And one of the last topics they hit upon was being able to manage your save squads through your roster screen, which I think is a good thing. It's definitely more friendly on this big old screen than it is on the very small Blitz screen. But if I have one suggestion, is adding in a replacement feature. So like if I need to edit this one here, which someday I probably will, edit this out and add in the last 2 Blackwater members, I would just be able to have a little button that says, instead of saying download, it says replace. So this save squad goes away and gets replaced by the new team composition that I put on here. If they do that, that is the best thing they have done when it comes to save squads and anything, is that just being able to swap out. Don't make me save this team, then go here and hit manage and delete the team, and then have to filter that team the whole way back to the top. Come on. Just the replacement feature will win a lot of people over. And then they closed out the show by hinting at that, yes, the Pimp Tech team that has been rumored for quite some time, that was supposed to be last patch and seeming to get pushed back to this patch, is finally coming, as they made a pun about characters coming in all shapes and sizes. Alright guys, so that is it for this week's hot take. I'd like to give a shout out to the members of my Discord who took out the time to answer a poll if they wanted to see the hot take series come back for me, which overwhelmingly I got yeses. Some just saying just bring it back, some saying bring it back with a guest preferred. If I can do this show with a guest in the future, I will. Now if you're another content creator and would love to come on and do this hot take show with me, by all means reach out to me in Discord. So with that said guys, if you enjoyed this hot take and the return of hot take, give me a thumbs up. If you're new here and have not done so already, hit that subscribe button. And if you don't want to miss any hot takes I do in the future, don't forget that notification bell. And with all that said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye. I am back with the return of Hot Take. Okay, I'll play. Let's just open this damn thing up while I'm waiting. What a waste. And then one of the last things they hit upon is be able to manage your rushed. By the way, I have shield up.